family affair today, man, and I can't wait. But you know what? Something that used to really make me a little bit nervous this season is one Mr. Jack Flaherty. But you look at this game, and what we want to see from him is a consistency and only giving up 2 runs, 6 1/3 innings pitched. That's a good start towards restoring some of that confidence. But I think more people are going to feel a lot more at ease when we see Jack Flaherty doing this a whole lot more consistently. But what a heck of a start.
Yeah, Jack Flaherty, he was good Jack. He wasn't necessarily like dominant, but he pitched more than well enough for the Tigers to get a victory. And I think, and I'm going to stay consistent on this, as of right now, and this is subject to change if Jack Flaherty ends the season on a torrid pace. If Jack Flaherty is the number 4 starter going into the playoffs, I think that is the perfect spot for him. I think I'm extremely comfortable with that. I actually think if he's the 4th starter and Kiter Montero is the 5th, that you probably don't even start but for more than one game. I think you've got obviously the top end with Skubal, but as good of starting pitching depth as previous World Series champions, if not better. I gave you the myriad of garbage that pitched in the playoffs the last few years for the World Series winning teams, and not necessarily garbage pitchers. Like, for example, Max Scherzer had a bad playoff run in 2023, Jack Flaherty last year, and Justin Verlander in a 2022. But my point is that I love to see what I've seen from Jack Flaherty, but it's not just Jack Flaherty. Every single one of your starters has given you a great outing in the last 5 games. It all started with Reese Olson on Friday. And I'm not saying Reese Olson was great or anything, but he was very, very good for his first start off the IL. Then you had Casey Mize the next day, Tarek Skubal the next day, Kiter Montero the next day, and then Jack Flaherty last night. This pitching staff is on a heater. Did you know that the Tigers have only allowed 6 runs total in the last 5 games? That's domination. I'll mention the bullpen a little bit more in a couple of minutes, but love to see great starting pitching, basically one turn through the entire rotation en route to a now 5-game winning streak.
Yeah, and you know what, you talk about it because we have all of our concerns, but I'm starting to wonder how you want Jack Flaherty to be consistent, but this Tigers team just continues to find ways to get it done. And last night, he gives up 7 hits, but gets to 8 Ks. I'm glad to see that he still has his stuff working, still is able to locate. I don't think that the Tampa Bay Rays, that their lineup is necessarily one that's just Swiss cheese to mull through. No. But for a guy like Jack Flaherty, I thought that this was encouraging. Now for the bullpen, especially when you have the bullpen that you do, this is where, it definitely becomes a first world problem if you have Jack Flaherty. If you're like, oh man, Jack, you got to be our 4th starter, especially when pairing him with this type of a bullpen. And you see how lights out this can be. I keep looking for what are the weaknesses with this Tigers team, and realistically, it's just stay healthy. Just stay healthy. A.J. Hinch seems to have all of the answers dialed up for the Detroit Tigers no matter what's happened this year. Even a little bit of injury issues.
Oh, yeah,
and to see the way that there are no favorites. We have our favorites. And I feel like if this is previous regimes, there may be some players who like cemented like statues at certain positions, especially with the lore that they have amongst the fans. But this is a situation where it's legitimately the best players playing the game, and where they've needed people to step up, those guys have even gone the extra mile too, which is just incredible. I don't know what many more superlatives you can really attach to this Detroit Tigers team, and that's what makes me, even before the All-Star break, before the trade deadline, I'm just sitting here now looking at my clock, man. Like, when does the playoffs start?
Yeah.
I'm ready, because you're right. When you're talking about the starting lineup, going out there and being able to say each one of the starters have had a good outing in their last 5. And you could probably go back and expand that and say, yo, a lot of these starters just have good starts every night. That to me is it's a testament to just how elite this Tigers team actually is.
Yes, and speaking of teams that the Tigers are probably going to see in the playoffs, Dante151 with a $9.99 super chat.
Shout out.
I can read this even though I'm a little blind right now. Can we all agree that baseball is a weird sport? Because how the hell did the Tigers sweep those bum Guardians, and yet the Astros are about to get swept as well by the Guardians? What? Baseball is a weird sport. It's sport. Random. That's why you have to judge things on large sample sizes. Because, the Guardians, their offense looked like it was just basically, and it still is over the totality of the season, Jose Ramirez, Steven Kwan, and nothing. But against Houston, they've woken up, and they're about to take a series from Houston. And this is one of those few times where I'm actually happy that the Guardians are winning because it widens the gap for the Tigers to get the number 1 seed. The only thing that I wouldn't like is if those bastard Guardians find their way into the wild card. That would be like them, though,
Get
right?
them out of the playoffs. Get them out. Shout out to our old sponsor, Guardian Alarm. Like, literally, Cleveland Guardians. Stay out, man. I don't need them anywhere near this dream season for the Detroit Tigers. We already going to have to deal with the Houston Astros. Listen, do I respect the Yankees? No.
Well, they're not even ahead of the division.
Not at all.
Honestly, the team that the Tigers should probably worry about more now is the Blue Jays. Yeah. The Yankees might not even make the playoffs. The Blue Jays are on a 10-game winning streak, and they're now ahead in that division.
Yeah, and that's where you look at this team, and I don't want any bad mojo. Guardians, get them all the way out of here. But this is where you contrast this thing with the Tigers. They had speed bumps? Yes. But when you look at how many series they've won this year, versus how many they've lost. You look at how many games they've gone in, how many different series they've gone up against teams that have winning records, and then all of a sudden they start to send their records closer to 500 than not. There was a series, I forget who it was earlier in the year that we were playing. It might have been the Brewers or so, or it might have been someone else, and we were like, yo, this team has a decent record, but by the time they're out of here, they're going to be under 500. And that would have meant that the Tigers had the sweep. And I remember we came here for the victory show. You like Kool-Aid?
Oh, I forgot.
They're under.
It wasn't the Brewers. I don't remember who it was, but I remember that show.
But that's what I'm saying. Yeah. Just a contrast is, yes, we've seen a couple stinkers here and there. But when you look at what's bolstered the Detroit Tigers above some of these other teams in the AL, it's because they're a consistent team. They'll have a loss here or there. And when they drop a series, it's to the point where and I even think people out there in national media are surprised that, whoa, wait, the Tigers lost? They're just going out there, and I don't even understand the recipe anymore, but it's absolute BTA. When you – and I do wonder, when you know as a series, as a team, that you have to literally face Skubal and Mize in a series, I wonder what that does to the confidence of these other teams. You got to prepare for these guys. And not that a baseball player is going to come in and say, oh, man, we lost. But you know that you're in for a battle when you have to face off with these two players. And then – you got to face off against this elite bullpen, as you continue to highlight all season. We thought they'd be a strength, but who knew that they would be able to, unlike last season, where when certain of the bullpen arms got either injured or went into their slumps, we saw the performance of the bullpen overall dip. We saw the performance of the team overall dip, whereas this year, we haven't seen that. We talk about how much they've been able to overcome if a bat hasn't been there or not, or if they're still waiting for guys to get back like Meadows and such. But when you look at this bullpen, they've just been able to continue to churn out and be a very, very strong point for the Tigers team.
No, I want to be fair, because obviously some guys in the bullpen have struggled. Not all, but some.
Individually, but the overall performance has continued to stay. Whereas last year, when that bullpen struggled, that's where we saw the team start to crater, approaching that trade deadline.
No, but we're looking at a potential, and this is another thing that we've seen in the last 5 games. Tyler Holton looks to be back.
Yes.
I am not going to declare that he's 100% back yet, but in these last 5 games, 4 2/3, 0 earned runs. Tommy Kahnle, we know what he's done. 2 1/3, no earned runs. These are in the last 5 games. Will Vest, 3 1/3, no earned runs. Both Tommy Kahnle and Will Vest have taken turns getting saves for this team. Those guys, I think I'm confident enough saying that Tyler Holton is, I don't know if he's back, but I love how he's trending. I'm still confident in him. I'm confident in Kahnle. I'm confident in Vest.